Yeah. All right. Hello, YouTube world. This is Valerie. We are back with Ron, and we're going to continue our conversation on Christ consciousness. If I'm correct, we should be on letter number 2. I want to also mention that last week, or whenever you saw the video before this one, that was our first podcast upload. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully you got a chance to hear clearly and see everything as we wanted it to come out. And we're going to try again with this video. Actually, we're going to do the next 3 podcast videos and see if our reach increases. So we're going to get started on Christ Letters 2. And our topic today will be acceptance. I'll let Ron introduce himself and then we'll get started.
Hi, everybody. It's Ron again, and thank you for joining us today. Val, I think an appropriate topic we can build upon, because I think we talked about this somewhat before, is acceptance. And I want to go back to when Christ left the desert and was heading back home, and before he started his public ministry, how he was accepted.
Okay.
You look back today, and how could anybody doubt that he was, as wonderful as he was? But in reality, had kind of a rocky start.
I kind of feel like it made me smile or maybe even laugh a little bit when you said that, because for everyone that we now maybe love and love even more, they probably was not accepted in the beginning. And the first place my mind goes to is singers, musicians, you know what I'm saying? You know, those actors that start off in those low budget movies, and then 10 years later, they're our favorite character, or that's our favorite artist. But, in the beginning, there was doubt, there was hesitation, there was, the start, and maybe that's wrong. Maybe we start off in disbelief or distrust, and it has to grow. I don't know, but yeah.
Well, it's something different, and we kind of touched on this before too. That different is bad for a lot of people because it's out of their comfort zone. It's weird. It's just not what they're used to, and it's not accepted initially.
It's sad though, because I think I was taught to in the beginning not to trust and make them earn my trust, right?
Mhm.
And I know I'm not saying it right, but that's how I remember it. That's how the process works. You make people earn your trust in the beginning. You don't just give them over all your trust. You don't give them all the confidence or all of your reassurance. And when someone like God comes on earth, that's what the go-to is. Who are you? What are you saying? How are we to be sure that you are who you say you are? And acceptance is, man, that's a powerful word. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, and I think that's kind of key, that trust is to be earned.
That's true. That's true. But I mean, I
But
guess,
there's a fine line between earning trust and outright, I don't like you, I hate you, throw rocks at you, total rejection too.
but do you think we live in a world though where it's either or? It's never an in between. It's never, let me give it a moment. Let me see exactly what he's saying. Let me learn more about him. We either go hard or cold, this guy is crazy. I'm not going to believe him, throw stones or whatever.
Probably for most of us, I think it's a more accepting, wait and see attitude. But fortunately, there's a lot of fringes out there, and they seem to be getting worse today. That uh, the initial reaction is, no, you're wrong, you're no good, you're evil, or whatever the case may be. It's total, complete non-acceptance. It's what's the right word? Again, non-acceptance, bigotry, I guess, is that a word?
True,
Can
true.
dovetail racism. It can dovetail into misogyny. I mean, there's so many things like that that people just are not willing to change. That hurts everybody. With the negative energy in the world that we should not have. We need to strive to get away from.
Gotcha. So how would you compare then the way people are treated now? Let's just say, and we both know, and to make it more current, if you do or say something wrong right now on the internet, people come for you immediately and you're out. How do you compare that to what they did in Christ's letters or, back then?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question. It's almost like we rehearsed this. Um,
Promise, guys, we did not.
we didn't. No, we didn't. But right here it says, I want you as you relate to the conditions of 2,000 years ago to your present life and times. I want you to regard the persona of Jesus as an icon of what can eventually be achieved by every human being who is ready and willing to become a founding member of the kingdom on earth. The people of all those years ago were the same as ourselves. They were controlled and motivated by their impulses of bonding and rejection and desires and repulsions, just like we are here today. They loved, they hated, they criticized, they condemned, slandered, gossiped, possessed ambitions to rise to the top of society, and despised those who were failures in their life and who secretly slept around, as we call it. They taunted people who were different in any way than themselves. And to help us understand his time on earth, his consciousness had descended to our plane and our earthly existence to experience yet again the persona of Jesus and emotions and events in which he was involved.
Wow.
Nothing has changed. Nothing.
First thing popped in my mind, Ron, was like all of a sudden that whole Me Too movement that popped up a couple of years ago. And
Mm-hmm.
now and the same effects are popping up with men. A lot of like I think P. Diddy or the different people in certain communities are popping up saying certain things that happened to them. And right now it's a lot of men coming forward. And the world seems to be turning on these people that they are accusing. Now as far as I know, there has not been a trial or a jury, but yet, everyone's throwing stones immediately,
Mm-hmm.
because, and I'm not saying it's true or not, but just because that one glimpse of he hit me or he did this to me, everyone immediately starts to throw stones.
Mm-hmm.
And God forbid, what if something's not true? You know?
I think frequently there's false allegations out there, and yeah, people are quick to judge, and just the speed with which all this stuff spreads around with the power of the internet today,
Yeah.
it's just incredible. Where, you know, 20, 30 years ago, you might read a little thing in the paper if you choose to do that, but so much of this was suppressed. And I mean, it goes with everything between, the school shootings, the mistreatment, workplace or otherwise, all the scandals and things that you can't keep it under a stone. It's out there.
Oh, I totally agree. Like I often said, and I'm not a news person. I don't watch the news at all. Unfortunately, I wait till my mom calls me because my grandmother passed away to tell me what's important on the news. But I had decided a long time ago that I didn't want to feed myself with bad stuff. Right now, I know it's
Mm-hmm.
important stuff in the world that I need to be aware of. I am not shying away from that. Being informed is one of the things I can control, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there should be a place where things should be rated by factual and not gossip or not misleading information is a better word. I do understand that some people find it easy to gossip. Some people find it easy to slander because that's one thing that they can control. When you consider yourself a victim of no voice, never being heard, totally misunderstood, that's their normal go-to. That's their new characteristic trait that they adopt because they just want to be heard. But also, too, by you being heard doesn't mean you have to pull someone else down. You don't have to gossip or throw stones at someone else. And I wish that there was a place, and I know the young people call it right now fact checking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anything you put online, everybody wants to fact check. You got to have, now they call it a receipt, you know. If you're saying that Ron emailed me and told me don't come, I need to show receipts. So that's the big thing with the young folks. But it should just be a go-to. It shouldn't be an addition to. You should just speak as honest as you possibly can when you can,
Mm-hmm.
because it's the right thing to do. I don't know. Maybe I'm over guessing over. glamorizing it.
No, not at all. I mean, doing the right thing is never out of style. It's not always pretty. It's not always glamorous, and it might not be put somebody in the best light. But the truth is the truth, and we should strive for that. And back to your comment about the news, I'm the same way. I sparingly watch news. I sparingly read news articles, and I prefer to concentrate, or at least take the things that I see and try to meditate on them in a positive light, and how they can be better and what it might take, and to my way of trying to bring some more light into the world by the people I see, who I chat with, who I speak with, things like that. Um, because it is so easy to start a conversation where you get dragged down and you're talking about somebody in not a positive light. It happens every day with almost everybody that we encounter. It's human nature.
One thing I was talking to someone about, and she was telling me a story, and she was just saying how, and I told them, no, I match energy. And I'm like, if I hear that one more time, I'm going to scream. Because matching energy is not what you think it should be, right? If the
Mhm.
energy is bad from the get-go, why are you matching energy? You should maintain
Yeah.
your energy and try to keep honesty, clarity in any conversation. If someone else is quite upset and I'm going to get them for cheating me for $1, she didn't give me back my dollar change, I'm going to go back in there and give them a piece of my mind. Yeah, you matching energy may not get the end result that it should, or that you really would like it to. Why don't you work on maintaining your energy, saying, wait a second, I think there was an error. Here's my receipt. I gave you a 20. It came to $18 and you only gave me back change. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think I'm missing $1, or do you mind checking? Or whatever the case may be. And I know it may not always go around. And to take it a step further, right, Ron? We both know for that cashier person to try to sneak $1 out of the register and collect change from you, their need to do something illegal, man, it's got to be greater than my need to match your energy. Is it really worth it? And I
Yeah.
know I'm talking $1, and there's some bigger dollar amounts in the world, but what are you going through that you would risk your job, risk going to jail, risk so much? You know, is it worth it for me to go and say, hey, let me call 911 because I feel cheated. I feel slighted. I want to make you pay. You should die for how you treated me. How dare you take $1 from me? This, and et cetera and so on. But matching energy, I'm just not sure that's the answer. And I know that's really popular. I think we should try to create a new slogan. Maintain your energy, maintain high flowing, high vibrating,
I
maintain,
like
or
that.
try to think to do your best when things are going south is when I really need you to show up, to be like, hey, 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 there might be an error here. No one's been accused, but A, B, and C happened. Let's rectify it. Let's talk about it. Let's get down to the bottom of it. But me going in there, guns blazing, I caught you. You did this. Yeah, that's like attack mode. And that's where everybody, I think, kind of gets into the roots of things. you know, throwing stones, gossiping. She said this, he said that. I'm not sure that's helping at all. If you think that what Ron did or Val did was wrong, let's have a conversation about it. You calling up 50 of our closest friends, telling them what we did and how we said this and how yeah, I'm not sure how that's going to end.
Well, didn't Michelle Obama say that when they go low, we go high?
I remember that. Oh, yeah.
It's kind of what you're talking about.
Yeah. And I know
And
back
it's
then,
not easy to do. It's not easy to
oh,
do all the
definitely.
time.
Definitely, especially if you got, this guy showing up, he's claiming to be Christ, God, or whomever you believe in, and he's saying some stuff that maybe you never heard before. Maybe you don't even resonate with because you were taught to, for every lick someone hits you, you need to hit them back. This is totally opposite of what you've been taught your whole life. yeah, this guy could be all kind of things, but he's not what you were taught. You immediately go negative. You go to the worst thoughts ever.
Mhm.
That's sad.
In upcoming parables, I don't remember ever reading about it in the Bible, but he told a new one where he had a group of people out there, and it was talking about forgiveness and acceptance. And he said in there, if you see somebody that's unkempt or it's cold outside, give them your coat. And everybody said, well, I won't have a coat. What do I do? And he went in there and says, be thankful you have the means to be able to give somebody something like that. You'll get it repaid back. Don't worry about it. And he said, if the situation arises, give them your coat and your cloak. And they were talking about helping people, going a mile with your neighbor to help if somebody asks you to do instead of turning it down. I mean, it's all part of the acceptance and the willing to see everybody. And when he says neighbor, he means whoever you walk through on the street, because we are all one. Uh, help them out. So don't be afraid to lend a hand and get them up. The biggest fear I think most of us have is that we're going to be taken advantage of, and well, maybe that's going to happen a little bit, but
True.
for the people who truly need it, that's definitely a positive thing to do.
Where do you feel you are on the acceptance journey? I'm about to say train. I
Oh,
don't know where that came from.
well, yeah, I guess it is. Yeah, I work on it all the time, and I think I'm making progress. Um, we was out to dinner with my wife a couple of years ago. Actually, we were at Red Lobster, and it was a day almost like today, where it's sub-zero temperatures and near zero. And there was a guy hanging around outside, and he walked up to me, and I thought, okay, what's he want? And he asked for a ride. He was homeless, and he said he lived in apartments that were about halfway between the restaurant and my house. And so I, you're suspicious because you don't know. And he says, look, he kind of says, I don't have anything, man. I'm here. I can tell he's obviously cold. I just need to get back to where I need to be so I can get in my room. And not only did we give him a ride, I actually was wearing a brand new pair of really nice winter gloves. And I don't know if he asked or if I just felt moved so, but that I had that. I didn't have a hat on that day, or I probably would have given him that too. But uh, afterward, I thought, did I do the right thing? And then, yeah, I did the right
Right.
thing. But it's not an automatic response necessarily. But it taught me a lesson.
I love that. I love that because I think about that often, like I've done a lot of volunteering with the homeless, right? A whole lot. Where now I'm to the point where I feel like, and I'm ashamed to say this, like I can tell the ones that are homeless and the ones that are not homeless or on, maybe scamming type agenda.
Mhm.
But then there's moments of me that say like, Val, you need to release those thoughts because whatever it is, that's their burden, that's their, cross to carry, right? It's not for you to decide or judge. So I have to always like check myself too, because, if I have to go downtown Chicago for a meeting, I immediately get on defense mode because I got to take the train. Then I got to walk from there to the building. And, most people know between that walk from there to the train, it's all business people. So there's a lot of encounters with people asking for money. And you sometimes feel like I have to protect myself. I have to do this. I have to do that. But I always have to just go back and say, Val, regroup, release that tension, that what if scenario in your mind and let the universe take its place because everyone's not out to get me. Everyone's not out to rob me, and sometimes, when you lock eyes with someone, they don't even ask you for $1. I don't know if you've ever experienced that. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes they even look away. I know my
Hmm.
energy is big and bright and my aura has a whole nother set of lights, but I think I encounter the ones that are really in need and the ones that are not. And maybe that's just, who I am and how I present myself in the world. but I don't want to ever carry that on my shoulders where I'm, constantly looking over my shoulders, trying to see through people's soul with my eyes. Are they trying to scam? Are they going to rob me? Are they going to push me down and take my purse? Like I don't want to live like that. But
Right.
that's the persona, I guess, the world has. And maybe I saw that on the news, right? Because that's all they tell me. I don't get too many reports or see too many things where I gave this guy $2 and, fed him for the next 3 hours. You don't hear that. You hear when someone got robbed and the guy did A, B, or C, or the woman put the kids out there to ask for money and they walked away and got into a Mercedes Benz. You hear stuff like that and it makes you so hesitant. So yeah. But
Definitely.
back to acceptance. I need to accept. I need to accept that and I'm aware of this. Everything is happening for me, for the better of me, not against me, not out to hurt me. And I need to accept that in every, step I take. Sometimes I do forget, and hopefully I'm not matching energy. I'm maintaining my energy, especially accepting the way things are. And that's how it is. And I have to be okay with that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, okay, here's something else you'll be able to relate to. He's saying that, when he left the desert and he went back, heading back home, he was exuberant. Now, he's been out in the desert for 6 weeks, with very, minimal food, water. He's on his way back. Hair is long. He's filthy, dirty from all the sand, the dust, the dirt, whatever else he's, been involved with. And he's high like a kite, is what he's saying here, right? He's just,
Okay. Okay.
wow. How many times have you seen a guy on the street corner who maybe talking to himself or singing or dancing and kind of has that same kind of look in our modern clothes today? And you think, well, that's a nut.
Yeah, and I've been in the car with folks and they'd be like, "I wonder what he's on,"
Yeah.
assuming that he's on some type of drugs or hallucinogens, whatever. But yeah, I totally agree.
And
But
he's
man,
saying here,
can you?
people
Go ahead.
encountered him, is he drunk or what's going on? Uh, and so they kind of just dismissed him and let him go on his way.
But I can
And
relate to
then
that
And then
completely,
there's
Ron.
some other people as he went through towns that they felt sorry for him and with compassion, and they really tried to pull him to their house and give him some food or water. Excuse me, uh, to help him out a little bit. So both things, just like we exhibit and see today.
You
And
show
but
up
he,
if you show up any way differently, people will look at you funny.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And but he's saying, he didn't talk about anybody else his weeks in the desert. He wasn't ready to do that yet. He wasn't prepared for delivering his new persona, I guess you will. And then when he got to his home, said his sister opened the door, and she freaked out. Right? Who is this? He didn't recognize him.
Oh,
Some bum at the door. She ran and shut the slam the door. And then
wow.
he's saying, Mary came back up, and of course, mother recognized her son. Says, "What the hell did you get into? Get in here!" And chastised him while she helped get him cleaned up and put back together. And you know, be, once he came back and he got cleaned up and he got reclothed and he got some food in his belly, he looked like the same guy as before and the brother, but he had been gone. Kind of like the story of the prodigal son. He was gone, now he's back. Why didn't you just leave and stay away type thing? But he hung
Right,
around the
right.
house, and because he mentally wanted to get himself prepared for that. So even in his home, he's saying he had his brothers and sisters were very resentful toward him. Uh, you went and screwed up all this, and your mom is taking care of you and doing this and that and everything else. And there was a lot of friction in the home. He wasn't accepted literally in his own home once he got back there. Again, the acceptance thing. You're different now. What did you do? Or you got something I didn't get. Why did why was that?
Don't go off and change, right?
Mhm, exactly.
I think that so
And
many
then,
people can relate to that.
but then, over time, over several weeks while he was there, um, mood got to soften a little bit. Apparently, his siblings had gotten injured at different times, and he was able to just lay hands on them and pretty much instantaneously heal what they had. And he knew it was just the energy flowing from all there is to heal them. It was nothing he did because he's still, one of the brother or sister. That's
Right.
no big deal. Uh, and then at times there were some food shortages in the home. So I think sounds like by this time Joseph was probably gone. Mary relied a lot on whatever she could do in the town and maybe some friends' support. Uh, Occasionally there'd be some warm bread, but mom didn't realize where that came from. So she started coming around, realizing, hey, there is something to him. Because he came back, he's talking like a madman about all the stuff he did and saw in the desert. It took some time to adapt and change, and again, accept him for who he
Accept them.
was.
I
Mhm.
agree. Wow. So in closing, our topic for today is acceptance, guys, and we're keeping them short so that you feel that you can watch this as much as you want, and we'll get more views and get the message out to as many as possible. How do you feel about acceptance? Where are you at in your life when it comes to accepting things? Have you accepted certain things in your life? For me, I've accepted that this is my path. This is where I need to be. This is how Ron and I are sharing our message. We both accepted that this was, bigger than us, and we're doing our part, or we've gotten alignment with our purpose, right? So comment down below, where are you with acceptance? Does that word feel as strong to you as it does to us? Are there things in your life that you are refusing to accept? Unfortunately, a lot of conversation among my family and friends right now is politics. I think it's a political year. So that can cause a lot of friction in households, in friendships, in workspaces. Are you accepting in that? I was taught never to talk about politics, religion, money. Maybe I've accepted that and I've adopted that, so I don't have those discussions at work because those are my work family. I have to see them every single day. I hope that they accept that I choose not to get into, you know, conversations about that. People are allowed to have their accepted opinions, and I don't want to force mine down on anyone. And what do you think, Ron, as we close out for accepting?
It's I guess the initial thing is people need to understand they need to accept things. And I think there's probably some people who might be closed-minded that no, I know what I know, and I don't want to change my mind and whatever. And I
Exactly.
don't think, we're not going to change that, right? But if you're wondering, if you're thinking about it, then you might want to look at it.
I agree. Ron hit it dead on the hill. If Dad hit the nail on the head. If you're thinking about it, if you're questioning, you're going down the right path, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're
Yep.
landing on something. Don't fight it. Stay in flow. Don't resist it. Feel those feelings. Explore those thoughts. Why am I thinking this? Is it because my parents told me to think this way? Is it because my neighbor, my big brother did? Or do I feel like there's something else that I may like be willing to consider, and that can play in any way in your life. I don't always have to hate my boss. I don't always have to hate my ex-husband. We're actually friends. And when I say that to people, it's like, whoa, you know, well, why did you get divorced? We just grew down different roads and we've accepted that. And it's okay. We have a child to raise and we've accepted that as well. So if your question is like Ron said, thanks for watching this video, and I hope we lead you to the best decision that will work for you. And I hope that you are accepting things that are in your life for the better and hopefully for the best.
Great. Thanks, Phil. And bye, everybody. See you next time.
See you next time. We'll have a new topic. Hopefully, we'll see you sooner than later. Take care.